This one was posted by the at WWE on Fox account, and they asked their followers, what is the most important match in WWE history?
I saw the tweet when it came out.
I think I saw The Rock's response. Did he respond to this?
Yeah, he said Hogan Sheik at MSG.
Hogan Sheik.
And that's why I didn't respond, because my response was different than The Rock's. But when Rock said that, Hogan versus Sheik truly set fire to Hulkamania. It became a phenomenon that dominated the 80s into the early 90s. And it's funny how as we get older and technology advances, that seems like ancient history, right? You talk about the 80s, people go, oh, it's cool, nostalgia. But the way time moves so fast and the way we consume things, that might as well have been eons ago. But to remove it and look at it objectively for what it meant to the business and what Hulkamania did for not only WWE, but the entire industry. Without Hulkamania, there's a good possibility that the three of us aren't sitting here talking to ourselves or each other about this business for sure. So I actually agree with The Rock's. My answer was going to be the main event of the first WrestleMania, which was Hogan, Mr. T, Piper, Orndorff.
Which goes back, by the way, to our Mount Rushmore.
Exactly. To go back to the Mount Rushmore, if that main event, if the addition of Mr. T, as questionable as it is now, you look and go, why the hell was Mr. T in the first main event of WrestleMania? Mr. T was the dude at the time. He was Americana, pop culture. He was one of the biggest stars in the world at the time. So to have him in that match alongside Hulkamania, which is red hot, Orton and Piper on the other side of the ring playing the villainous foil, if that doesn't succeed and doesn't pack the house and do well on pay-per-view, as we've discussed when we did Mount Rushmore, WWE definitely doesn't exist how we know it. Maybe doesn't exist at all.
It's hard to argue with The Rock. I'd love to have him on the show, so this is a personal invitation to come on whenever you want. I go back to my Mount Rushmore moment, and it's Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3. And it's everything about Hulkamania up to that point. It's a reason WrestleMania 3 had the indoor attendance record of over 93,000 people in the Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan for so many years. That, to me, that moment, that body slam, everything about it, Gorilla Monsoon on the call.
Look at this! He's landed! I don't believe it!
That stands to me as the most important match in WWE history.
And definitely in WWE history. Now, while we're having this conversation, mind you, anybody listening, feel free to do your research, dive right in. This is a fascinating look. Look back to the days that predated WWE. In the old, when there was a world champion, even pre-NWA, this would be a great conversation to have with like a JBL type, who is just a historian who knows things off the top of his head. All the double crosses and the screw jobs before Montreal. There's a lot of really weird, dare I say dark, but always interesting history as far as championships and titles and matches that did or did not take place for different reasons throughout the history of wrestling. It's actually kind of woven itself into the business as part of the fabric, the sort of mistrust that was taking place back then. It's definitely worth interesting. So I'm not saying that our answers are the correct answers. Feel free to form your own opinion, but use this as an excuse to do a little research, a little history. Dive in as to some of the most important matches in the history of the business prior to WWE. That'll be a good way to waste a day.
I have a follow-up to this question for you guys, and the answer might be the same. I'm not sure. So you guys gave your most important matches in WWE history. Is there a match that sticks out to you as the most important to you personally as a fan? That like, hey, without me seeing this match or experiencing this match or that match taking place, I don't necessarily know I'd be the fan that I am today or even involved in the business the way you guys are?
I got to go with Hogan Warrior at WrestleMania 6.
That would be mine too.
I remember my earliest memories in life are being approximately 3 or 4 years old. I was gifted for Christmas wrestling action figures. There was a giant Hulk Hogan figure that was articulated, really probably worth like $1 million nowadays. But my dad's friend got me that for Christmas because he knew I was obsessed. So Hogan was my guy. And I just started to get to be the age where I had opinions. I'm 6 years old. I watch this every week religiously with my dad, and this Ultimate Warrior guy is awesome. I don't know, Warrior, that's my guy. I love Hulk, but I don't think I've ever experienced human conflict at that age. That was my first, that's why I think it still resonates with me. That was the first time I felt conflict as a child, because I felt like I love the Ultimate Warrior. He's my guy. I want to see him win. But Hogan's been my guy for so long, and he didn't do anything wrong, and I feel like I'm betraying Hulk if I root for Warrior, and to this day, that resonates with me, and I'm sure that's why. Like, on a human level, that was the first time I ever experienced those emotions.
I don't recall the very first match that drew me in. For some reason, Hulk Hogan Sergeant Slaughter sticks out because my cousin signed up.
You hate America.
No, my cousin signed up and was in Desert Storm, and I remember my dad and like my family being very upset at Sergeant Slaughter during that time. And so that's the one that first steps out. I can say the one that propelled me to say, I've always been interested in professional wrestling, but before I came here with the background I had, where it was like, I want to do this, no doubt in my mind. And it was like the final stamp was Shawn Michaels Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. Was like the final one, like, I got to do this. Like, no more, like, I got these, this is what I've done for my life. Great. I want to really give this a shot. So that was like maybe the most recent one that I can actually stand out and say. But the earliest memory, for some reason, Hogan Slaughter is the one that sticks out for that reason. But that's a difficult one off the top of my head. I'd have to sit with that then.
Another one that sticks out to me, obviously, I was a huge Warrior fan, so Corey, your selection rings true for me. But as a kid, I remember like the time I was drawn in the most and like had to just absorb every piece of content and stuff that was put out by the WWE leading up to this match.
Can I guess this?
Go ahead.
WrestleMania 7, Warrior Savage?
No, Shawn and Brett.
Okay.
WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match. Just the
I thought
whole.
you were sticking with Warrior.
No, just the whole thing with Jose Lothario and just like the entire build up to that match and the rivalry between Brett and Shawn kicking off. I had to have that pay-per-view.
I would agree with that, Alex, and maybe even subconsciously that resonates more with me. I think it's one of those ones that I just go, all right, I'm tired of hearing about it. Yes, we know it was amazing. Everyone just talking, but to your point, at that age, again, I would have been about 12 years old then. And maybe subconsciously that was when I went, maybe I could do that. Because prior to that, it was guys the size of Hogan and Warrior and these monsters, these maniacs. But Brett and Shawn, I went, I could be like that. And then to hear the Jose Lothario story and hear Shawn's boyhood dream, I'm going, I kind of have a dream like that. And he did it, and maybe I can. So I think you might have nailed it with that, Alex. That I think without realizing, that probably resonated with me a lot more than I even realized, just because we've talked about it. But to take a step back and look back and think, yeah, that might have been it too.
Yeah, Graves, you're a little bit older than me, but I think for you it was about getting in the ring and having that, be part of your life and a career you wanted. For me, it was the first time I really experienced like a story from like beginning to end told in the ring. And then at the end, it was really about, okay, who actually is the best here and who can last 60 minutes and who can prove. And like, that was the first time as a fan, I really experienced what like that wrestling storytelling was really all about. So like you said, it's been talked about to death, but that one will always stick out to me.
Like what you hear? Catch full episodes of After the Bell on Spotify. Follow us now and never miss an episode.